Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. In this segment, we're going to react to a Kevin Samuels interview with an argumentative 51-year-old modern woman. He apparently puts her in a place. Now, I've never seen this, so we're going to be reacting to this as it goes along. So let's jump right into it.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, first name.
Monique. I'm back.
I went to sleep. I don't know who you are.
Well, you talked to me about a couple of days ago. I'm the 51-year-old woman.
Okay.
And, I don't want to argue with you. Just want to see your point in what you're saying. And I do want to clarify that the person I was talking about is 6 years younger than me. He's not 30.
Just go off the information you told me, ma'am.
Yeah, I never mentioned the age. That's what I wanted to clarify. And one of my friends that was here listening, she says, you never mention the age.
Why is everyone using ninja transfers?
Ninja transfers is definitely killing them.
Okay.
Okay. And, I do listen to your show and I do get some great points in what you say, but there's some points I don't agree with. And I'm not a bitter person. I'm happily, to be honest, I'm happily single. So there's a lot of women, you mentioned that they're lonely or they make money and
okay,
they're not happy.
Ma'am. I just need you to kind of get to the point because it sounds like you're kind of rambling. I don't know what to respond to.
Well, I just want to clarify myself. I want to clarify myself and, I just feel there should be a better approach when, that you.
Ma'am, please, now let me do me a favor, ma'am.
Sure.
My approach works for most of the people who call. You're in the minority.
Well, it just seems like you're pretty harsh, and
but is it true?
Well, you're kind of judging everyone.
No, ma'am. No. See, what I just asked was a question. You said I'm pretty harsh. That's subjective. That's a value judgment. That's to you. I asked, is it true? That's not a value judgment. That's a statement of fact. Is what I say true? Huh?
Okay. Is what true? I don't understand. Is what?
Well,
true?
What's so harsh, man? What's harsh?
Well, you seem like you pretty much. I heard some of the callers even after.
No, ma'am. I'm talking. Here's the thing, ma'am. I'm going to talk about you because you called in and you told me the guy you've known for 3 years, right?
Yes.
And he's younger than you.
Yeah, he's younger than me. Yes.
And the issue was that you didn't believe he was being honest with you, and that only after having sex do you think you can honestly get the truth out of men because we all lie.
Well, see, you, and I'm so glad you brought that up.
Ma'am, is that okay? I've listened to the show. Is that not the general?
Is there any way that I can tell you what I meant to say?
No. Well, you're 53, ma'am. I know what you said, and that's what I responded to.
Yeah, I'm 51, but
51, 53, ma'am. Okay, I know what you said. You were judging the man. I asked you. You said he's a great guy. He's been a friend. Yet you're judging him for things he has not done.
Well, I never mentioned you're. I mean, you're. If I say I have one black eye, you're saying I have 5. That's not what I'm saying. You kind of went way overboard. That's if I could tell you what I meant by the sex thing, I would appreciate that. If I could please get that through, that would be great. What I meant by the sex thing, usually I feel, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I feel that once a lady gives herself to a man, she will find out how he really feels about it. So that's what I meant. I meant, if I were to have sex with him, he might say, I always wanted a kid. So he might come out with the truth. That's what I meant. That's what I meant by that. He might.
You didn't say anything. Okay, ma'am. Hold on. What do you think you just said that was different?
Oh, so you did understand what I said.
I'm very clear. Apparently, you're not understanding. I repeated what you said, that the guy, you don't.
Okay, I'm going to jump in before Kevin completely goes in on this young lady. The last little comment she made, oh, so you did understand. So let's kind of summarize what we got here. Here's a young lady, well, she's in her 50s, who called in, and she's calling in the second time around to clarify how a previous call with Kevin went. And in that call, she is trying to explain herself, because I think the way she came across on the call, based on the feedback she was getting from her friends and other people, maybe there was a perception that she came across a little wrong. So she's calling to clarify how she looked. So in the clarification, she's literally being a bit condescending to Kevin with saying, well, can I get to speak? And if this is what I meant when I said this, or I didn't say the person's age, but I implied the person was younger than me, or, you know, she gave information that he took at face value to react to her, you know, her situation. Now, that last little comment, oh, so you did understand, implies that he had a problem of understanding, meaning he was taking things out of context, and he was misrepresenting things. So when she said that, it was almost a passive aggressive way of, you know, kind of backhanding him to say, you know, you misrepresented what I was actually saying when you understood. Shame on you. Now, it's about to get contentious, and I can already tell you, because Kevin's already in a place where he's getting defensive. Generally speaking, a lot of women tend to be a bit sassy, especially since they try to discredit Kevin Samuels' point of view with regards to comments that he makes about modern women and high value men. And a lot of times where I get a little bit confused is, why do they call his show to ask for his advice when they don't fully intend on hearing him out? So it's either a situation where they want the clout of his audience, or they're calling the troll, or something along those lines, but it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't seem like she's approaching this as if she's genuinely seeking help. It just seems like she's approaching this as if she wants to be combative. So that's sort of my initial take. Let's see how it plays out.
I don't believe he doesn't want any children. You think he's just saying what he has to say to get in your pants. And after that, then the truth will come out. That's why I said you believe your vagina is a truth detector. You're judging him based upon, but you said he's a nice guy and he's never done anything wrong, but you're judging him to be deceptive.
Well, I mean, it's not that.
Ma'am.
It's just
Ma'am.
Ma'am. Sure. Okay. I'm sorry.
You're judging him to be deceptive. He has not done anything wrong.
But you might be right.
True or false? Right. No, ma'am, I'm judging on what you said. See, here's the funny thing. This is your lived life. You called into my show at a moment in time, and I seem to have a better recall of the things you said than you do.
You know, don't get offended, but it seems like you kind of a mind manipulator. It seems like you kind of. Now, just because I made a statement, now you're going to get pejorative. Now you're going to start with the insults. Shame. Here's the black woman playbook, guys. When they cannot defeat the argument, they start with the shame, the guilt, the insults, and the need to be right. This was the insult. But isn't that what you're doing to me?
No, ma'am. I recall what you said, and then you're gonna ascribe some negative. Look, ma'am. Honestly, what do you want? Because you're coming in here, I let you talk, you just rambled. At 51 years old, I expect a woman to have a better grasp.
I just wanted to clarify myself.
Well, you didn't. You did not clarify yourself. You sound just. No, ma'am. Stop! Don't overtalk me, lady.
Okay.
You can hear me frickin' talking. I know you can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Then why the fuck do you keep talking when I'm talking?
Well, I was never finished. You keep cutting in.
I don't care if you're not finished or not. This is my show. Can you whoop a man's ass?
So this just went left. It's at the point now where Kevin is fully frustrated by how the events of things are playing out. And I think what's actually happening is that he feels disrespected because she's interjecting while he's attempting to talk. I don't know if women know how men view this in terms of, a respect thing. Generally speaking, if a man is talking after he's given her time to speak, try to clarify, and in the middle of him making a statement, she's interjecting, preventing him from making his point. It's something that's commonly done by a lot of women, especially the older women who are kind of stuck in their ways. It's almost like they feel as if their point of view matters more than whatever it is you have to say. And so the moment he attempted to do that, he says when they feel that a woman is losing the argument, she'll use shame, guilt, to try to deter attention away from the fact that there are valid points being made that she doesn't have valid answers to. So in this case, Kevin's fully perturbed. He's fully stressed because this lady, she has a sweet little voice, but she has a strong personality. You can tell she's willing to go head on with him. She's willing to argue. And I think this is like a learned habit. A lot of times people, based on how they interact or they've seen interactions modeled in their household, if that's how their parents used to talk, then that's essentially how they will talk to other men, especially if they lack respect for that man. And I think that's what's happening here. You're seeing her not really respect his point of view, respect his show. And she's just kind of interjecting and saying whatever she wants to say, because I guess she thinks her point of view and what she has to say matters more than his point of view and what he has to say. So that being said, let's continue.
I don't understand that type of question.
Well, here's the thing. Men don't do what you just did because there's always a low-level threat of violence between men when lines are crossed. When I, as the host of a show, start speaking and you continue to talk as if I'm not saying a word, that is disrespectful. You would not do that anywhere. You wouldn't do it at work, at church, in a restaurant, but you will have no problem disrespecting a black man. Fuck what I'm saying. I'm going to keep on saying what I got to say. This, I don't care what this dude is saying. You're disrespectful.
But is that what you're doing to a black woman?
I am talking to you, black woman. I'm talking to you. I'm only handling what happens with you. You keep trying to make this about everything else, and I keep focusing on you, what you said and what you did. You.
Okay. Well, Kevin, Mr. Samuel, it seems I have a question. Do you date 30-year-old women? Because you mentioned on the last show that how dare I date 30-year-old men, which he's not 38. He's about 5-6 years younger than me. But if I recall, I believe you probably date 30-year-old women. So what would you say about yourself doing that? That's, it's kind of contradicting yourself. That's what I'm.
And that is a question. Why?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it, why would you say you're 50?
Because okay, first off, okay. You want to answer that question because here's why. You want the answer?
Yeah,
it's a double standard. Worldwide. Hell, be quiet.
Okay.
It's a double standard worldwide. Just like you can stay at home while I got to go work. If I was at home and you worked, people would look at me a certain way. That's a double standard. That benefits you. This is a double standard that's been with us since time immemorial.
Wow. He kind of just killed her with that point. There are double standards in relationship. So she's trying to make it seem like, well, if I as a woman is looked down upon for dating a younger man, the term is being a cougar, then why are you not looked down upon for dating a younger woman? Right? In this case, he's saying there are double standards. That is the most honest response he could have given her to that question. There are double standards. And I think he used a masterful point when he said, well, if I stayed at home while you worked the majority of the time, everyone will view me as a deadbeat guy who's leeching off of you, right? And that's a double standard, right? Because if you stayed at home and didn't work, it would be perfectly normal. It wouldn't be viewed, any differently. If I wasn't as productive as you were in my career, I'm viewed negatively. But if you're more productive than I am, or if you're not as productive as I am in your career, you're not viewed negatively. So in the same way, if a man is dating a younger woman, it's not the perception, depending on how young she is. We're not talking about dating illegally dating somebody who's not of age. But if an older man is dating a younger woman, it's not frowned upon. And I wouldn't even say that it's frowned upon when an older woman is dating a younger man. It's just that, it is a double standard. And I think he answered that correctly.
And here's another thing. Nature doesn't even want what you're talking about because children can't come out of it. Children can come out of whatever I do. I can be 70 years old, and as long as I'm not shooting blanks, I can make babies. You can't. Oof. So it's unnatural. Argue with the creator.
Damn. That point is a valid one. I mean, I don't care how you feel about the situation. That's a valid point. It is true. An older man can still reproduce. An older woman, it's harder, if not more so impossible for her to reproduce. And very less likely because they go through menopause, especially when a woman's in her 50s, they go through menopause, and that's where the body knows that it's not safe for her to have babies because it puts her life, at risk and potentially causes a higher risk for the baby to have some sort of lifelong infirmity. So he's kind of got on that point.
So you're saying the 50-year-old one, if I were to date a 30-year-old man, it wouldn't be good, but if you do,
no, ma'am. See what I just gave you was statements of fact. This has been with us for time immemorial. Is that true or false?
Well, I want to clarify what you're saying.
No, ma'am. I need you. No. I don't want to. I need you to. You didn't answer my. Older men have gotten with younger women since recorded history. True or false?
That's true, and that's a clarification.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Okay. Since time immemorial, older men with younger women can produce children. True or false?
True at times.
Ma'am, don't give me yes at times, but if you flip the script, older women can they readily produce the same amount of kids with younger men as older men can produce with younger women?
Well, what does the kids have to do with it?
No, ma'am. No, I asked you. Can older women?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, no. So nature does not even support what you're talking about because the generations cannot continue. The human race dies out if we don't reproduce. See, the problem is so many Black women like yourself are at odds with reality. You don't like truth. You don't like logic. You don't like facts. You go by your feelings and what you want. Nowhere else are you going to hear women try to equate an older man getting with a younger woman, saying an older woman with a younger man are equal or the same.
Yeah, you have a point there.
I know. Show me where Stella got her groove back in the Hispanic culture, the Middle Eastern culture, the Asian culture, or even the Caucasian culture. Where are these movies like that?
Well, I understand your point, but
In this debate, he's crushing her because he's making a lot of valid points. But he did make another valid point. There is more of a combative nature sometimes with black women as they interact with their black counterparts. It's almost as if they don't feel like the black man's position, his authority, is valid. So they have to challenge it all the time. This man's making a valid point, and she's still pushing back as if what he's saying is not valid. There is no scenario where it's acceptable in any other culture, where there's like a vastly older woman is dating a vastly younger man. It's not to say it doesn't happen, but what he's saying is it's not common, and it's not something that's celebrated in other cultures. Despite the fact that she agrees with the point, she's still pushing back, as if to say, but yes, you're wrong. And that's where I think it's going to get to a point where I think Kevin is saying that you can never really win any arguments or make any valid points with certain women because they're stuck in their ways. Now, I'm not saying this is solely a black woman thing. I'm sure it's a modern woman thing is how I would phrase it, because it's just this mindset that says feminism, women should be equals with men when it's convenient for them to be. And, we encourage that challenging, speaking back to a man, almost, degrading him in a way to bring him down a level because for whatever reason, what he's saying can't be right. And I guess this is sort of the energy that I'm picking up from this young lady's situation here. Again, she called in on his show and has interjected when he attempted to speak. She tried to correct him when she wasn't clear in the first place. And when he's making valid points, she's still pushing back. This seems as if this is a person who's a know-it-all. She's got all the answers. Yet she called him for answers, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But let's continue.
I don't know. Maybe you have a different. It seems like you're pretty harsh with the black woman, even the black woman who's successful.
No, I'm hard. No, ma'am. That is one thing I'm not going to allow you to do. I'm talking to you, black woman. Don't say I'm harsh to black women, because I have black women who call here all the time and love what I do. Stick to me and you. Stop trying to make me fit shoes that I'm not going to wear. I'm talking about you. You keep trying to make this about everything else other than you. You can't do that with me. I'm not.
Valid point. You can see this happening quite often. She's generalizing the conversation when he's personalized it to just her. So she's making it seem like he's combative with all women that calls his show. And a lot of women call his show and doesn't take the tone that she takes. She's taking a tone of, you're wrong, I'm right. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to bring you back down a peg. That's her tone. That's her energy. And he's picking up on that and pushing back and saying, ma'am, specifically in your situation, based on what you relayed to me, this is what the situation was in your case. And every time he makes those points, he's saying, well, you're adversarial towards black women, as if that's a rallying cry to get all black women to view him differently, simply because he's being critical of her and her situation and her approach. That's a valid point. And I think that happens sometimes in relationships when you're having an argument with your girl and she's talking and you make a valid point and all of a sudden she goes back, well, you must have treated women like this in the past. He's like, no, I'm talking about how I treated the situation based with you. I'm not, like, let's not bring other things into this to kind of dilute what we're talking about. And I think this is what's happening here. A lot of valid points that Kevin has made so far.
I'm not going to allow it.
I'm going to tell you right now, I am a successful black woman.
Congratulations.
51 years old.
Right.
I'm a very tall woman, but I'm slightly, a little overweight. So you're
I know. I have your picture. I still have your picture right here. I know who you are.
But you're saying because I'm overweight, I'm trash, even if I have money.
No, I didn't say that. When did I say that?
Well, that's what that's what you're.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, hold on, ma'am.
I have to say this lady's cooked. Those words never came out of that man's mouth. all he's done is rebut some of the points that she's made to kind of give her clarity and explain his point of view. He's never said she was trash. He's never said anything generally speaking about black women. But you see how this lady is just kind of moving the needle to find a way to demonize him and his character as a person. And I didn't pick up on any of those things. That happens sometimes. You know, there's some people who's got their own internal problems. She went back to reminding them that she's successful. That's great that she's successful. But what does that have to do with what's happening in this conversation right now? That's what I think is so interesting about this, is that we're kind of going off topic. You know, like apparently she's having relationships problems relating to men that comes into her life. She called to get advice about how to attract a successful man. And you're seeing all the flaws being displayed right now. You know, she puts words in people's mouths when she's arguing. She doesn't take points, valid points that are raised. She doesn't really, you know, concede when valid points are made. Instead, she deflects. She generalizes things rather than focusing on what's specifically being talked about. These are all things that are showing or exposing some flaws with this young lady. You know, and then when she mentioned, she's overweight and she's tall, which generally isn't something that a lot of men go for, tall, overweight women. You know what I'm saying? That limits the amount of options that she has, because, you know, now you're just not going to get as many men to come to approach you if that's the case. And despite that, you would think that she has a good attitude and she's not combative, but it doesn't seem like her attitude is one where she's agreeable much. So let's see how he continues.
Hold on, ma'am. You said that if you're overweight, you're trash. Ma'am, as a statement of fact, when did I say that?
Well, that's what it seems like your conversation.
No, ma'am. You're a 51-year-old successful woman. Please tell me where I said what you said I said.
You never said it in my conversation.
Then you just lied on me. Ma'am, you just lied on me.
Well, I almost said Kevin Hart. Kevin Samuels.
Ma'am, first off, let's get this straight. You don't play that with me. Don't talk to me like you're my mother. Ma'am, you just said that I said something. When I asked you to tell me where I said it, you can't pull it up.
You never said it with me.
Then you lied. Then why did you say I said it?
I never said who you said it with. You never let me.
All right. I'm about to get real. See, this is another one that you think you're slick.
I mean, anybody watching this can see that this lady she's cooked. She's not all the way there. She made a statement. She said he said something that he didn't say. He asked her respectfully to tell him when he said it. Then she said, I never said you said it with me, but I'm not saying who you said it with. And it's like, wait a minute. Where is all of this coming from? Sometimes you have some delusional women who create things in their head. You didn't say something, but in their mind, they heard you say it. It's like, wait, I never said that. Like, what are you talking about? In their mind, they heard you say it because she's feeling emotional. She's really kind of being exposed here with this little debate that they're having. And I think at this point, she's just trying to throw as many shots at him as possible to sort of make him look bad and, attack his character. Now, he's not generally a rude person that will just say something like that without cause. And I didn't hear it during the course of this interview. And she can't cite when he said it, but she's still standing 10 toes down on it, doubling down that he said something that was inappropriate when she can't really cite when he actually said it. This is a problem.
Trying to play these little funny. No, look, lady. Look, lady. I'm gonna give it to you this way. You can play these little games with your girlfriend. Well, I didn't say this, and I didn't say that. Look, I will mute you if you don't know.
Well, that's fine.
Well, I know it's fine because here's the funny thing. The funny thing is you may be successful in your business life, but you're monumentally unsuccessful in your dating life. And this is why you can't date a successful man. Outside of being tall and overweight.
Damn. It got extreme.
And again, I asked her you can unmute yourself. But
Okay.
apparently,
Well, what
but what you're going to do is you're going to respect my platform, respect my show, or I'm going to put you off the panel.
Well, that's fine. And I'll start my own show.
Well, I guess it's fine. I guess you can try this shit in your day-to-day life, but no, you could. All I'm asking you, a grown person, to act like you got some sense, and it seems to be beyond your capabilities.
If I put you down, you get upset. If I do it,
No, man. See, you're still talking.
Well, I'm saying
You were talking. Okay, Monique.
Medicine.
No. See, ma'am. The funny thing is, you think you're.
Sir,
No. Take your own medicine. You can't give me my own medicine because I can deal with your lies. You have not said anything that I said. You're talking in your feelings in a stream of consciousness to where I have to end up muting you. I challenge you to go back and listen to this. Guys, do me a favor in the comment section. Timestamp this. Where are we at in the video? Timestamp 57, roughly around 57 minutes. Timestamp 1. Listen to how this 51-year-old woman is talking. Comment accordingly.
Okay, thanks for letting this happen. Because a friend of mine told me to listen to you, and I listened.
I'm glad they did.
I listened for the.
Domineering, overbearing, combative, argumentative, overweight, and you wonder why successful black men do not choose to date age appropriate. This is far too much what's out there.
So in this clip, we've got a 51-year-old woman who calls in, and from the jump, the energy is a lot. She's coming across as very combative, argumentative, and overbearing, and she makes it clear that she's happily single. Now listen, there's nothing wrong with being single, especially at any age. If someone is genuinely at peace with their life, that's their choice. But here's where Kevin starts digging deeper. Because when someone says they're happily single, but at the same time is calling into a platform like this, engaging in heated debates about relationships, it raises a question. Are you really at peace, or are you just comfortable in your position? And Kevin doesn't let the attitude slide. He starts asking direct questions about her dating life, her expectations, and what kind of men she's dealt with. But instead of clear answers, there's a lot of deflection, pushback, and resistance. And this is where the conversation shifts, because it's not even about standards at this point. It's about approach and mindset. Kevin points out that being argumentative and combative is going to push people away in relationships. Most people, regardless of gender, don't want to deal with constant conflict. They want peace, cooperation, and mutual respect. And if someone is leading with aggression or always needing to be right, it becomes very difficult to build anything long term. Another thing he highlights is accountability. At 51, your life is the result of decades of choices, patterns, and behaviors. That's not judgment, that's just reality. So when someone is still struggling with relationships or has strong negative experiences, Kevin's perspective is that it's important to look inward and ask, what role did I play in my outcomes? But again, instead of reflection, she leans into defensiveness. And that's when Kevin really shuts it down, because you can't help someone who isn't willing to hear feedback. He's not saying she can't live her life the way she wants. If she truly wants to be single, that's her choice. But what he's challenging is the contradiction between claiming happiness while displaying frustration and hostility. Because energy doesn't lie. If someone is truly at peace, it usually shows in how they communicate, how they carry themselves, and how they engage with others. At the end of the day, this conversation is less about age and more about mindset. No matter where you are in life, if you want different outcomes, it starts with being open to self-reflection, accountability, and change. Because staying stuck in the same patterns while expecting different results, that's a losing strategy. Anyway, that's my take on this one.
Masterfully done. Definitely check out Groove, my man's channel right here. With the comments. Pearl Media. I think you couldn't have said it any better. This young lady is unfortunately declaring that she's happy, but based on how her energy has been and the combative nature that she's taken with Kevin, who shows she called into to seek out advice on her dating life, it demonstrates that she's not as happy as she's proclaiming. And when it's time for her to even get advice, and it didn't seem like he said anything out of turn to her. You just said, look, you're making assumptions about this man's intentions and what he really wants, and he hasn't done anything wrong for you to make those assumptions. I think you're in the wrong for doing that because you didn't give that man a true chance to showcase how he felt about you. She got defensive. She wanted to clarify. She wanted to paint that man in a negative light to make it seem like he was the cause of the problem and not to take any responsibility herself. If you are a person that maybe has this issue, I think it's good to kind of pick up from some things that we're discussing here, and that sometimes you have to look inward, sometimes you have to reflect, and sometimes you got to get feedback, and that's from people you love. If that's a friend that you can say, how do you think I handle criticism, constructive criticism, and let them tell you and get the feedback and actually make an effort to work on it. Because when you don't have any self-awareness, then you don't know how the room is perceiving you. And I think this lady thinks she does everything right. And the perception was that she's combative. She's not the type of person that someone would be happy to come home to. Imagine getting into an argument with this lady. This would be tough. Or a woman like this, who thought like this, who acted like this, it'd be tough. And most men aren't going for that, especially if you're a successful man who could afford not to do that. And you could afford to deal with a younger woman who doesn't give you as much, pushback and arguments and things of that nature. Most men are going to gravitate to the point of least resistance, right? And, this may explain why she's still single and seeking advice. With that said, I welcome your feedback. What say you? What do you think about this whole show? Was she in the wrong? Was Kevin in the wrong? I want you to weigh in. If you're not already a subscribed member of the Intercourse Show, feel free to like and subscribe, stay connected, but also weigh in. Share your comments. Let me know what you think. Am I missing it? Did I pick up on some things that you didn't pick up on? Do you have a different point of view? Feel free to share it. I welcome the feedback. And, up until we speak again, I thank you guys for joining me. And I wish you all well. Till we speak again. Later.